butter sculpture. Bob Pollock from the Extension joins us each Friday morning at this time. You can ask him your questions about lawns and gardens and trees and plants and all of those lovely things. So let's take a look. Have you seen the butter sculpture yet?
Actually, I haven't.
You have not?
No.
If you want to come around and look at it, it's on my screen here. Our visit is presented this morning by Marcus and Mack, voted best law firm, best personal injury lawyer 4 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. You can visit them online at marcusandmack.com. So you got your Declaration of Independence, and Mr. Jefferson is there, and there's Mr. Hancock signing it. It's life size.
Yes.
You've got the Liberty Bell. You got Betsy Ross sewing the flag. Sitting there as well.
Yep, right there on the edge.
Yeah, there she is. And John Hancock is actually in the act of signing his John Hancock. Ben Franklin is checking it out. He's looking over the wording of the Declaration of Independence and telling Thomas Jefferson that he spelled a word wrong, I'm sure. So there you go. The butter sculpture is here. That must mean it's time for the farm show in Harrisburg at the Farm Show Arena, which is the world's largest indoor farm exhibition, we're told.
Yes,
and quite the atmosphere. It's
under one roof. Yeah.
It's always quite the atmosphere at the farm show.
I think there's several roofs there, but
yeah.
Under one roof, globally, kind of. Yep. Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, 1,000 pounds of butter in this thing, donated by the Land O'Lakes plant in Carlisle, PA. And they get this every year, and it gets a lot of attention. And I think it's a really cool tradition.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So speaking of traditions, here's the transition.
Yeah, transition.
It's coming. The tradition transition here is that Pennsylvania has a very thriving dairy industry even today. Decades ago, it used to be like the number one industry in all of Pennsylvania, but certainly dairy farming is still alive, and here in Indiana County too.
True.
Yeah.
True. It's different than it used to be. Mm-hmm. Oddly enough, that was just yesterday. Somebody was commenting about, how things have changed.
Oh yeah.
And just driving down the road in the back roads and around this county. Oh, this was so and so. My father was really good at that. I mean, he could drive.
He could tell you who used to farm here and there. And
this is who owned that, and this is who farmed here, and then this is who bought it, and wow, he really. But he grew up in that, so he, that was something that he noticed and somehow kept in his brain.
Used to be old farmers that walked around and they could tell you that all the time.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing, and farm wives as well. Who are really the unsung heroes of dairy farms. Because they're doing pretty much everything that the guys are doing out in the fields, but they're also keeping a house and in many cases running a business out of the farm.
Yeah, doing the bookkeeping and raising the kids and all those jobs that had to be done.
Big salute to all of them. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and even today you see barns. That are many of them are falling down, and some of them were sold. And, some just aren't there anymore.
Yeah, now they sell barns for the wood.
Yes,
to get torn down so artists can use it.
Yep, there could be very valuable wood in those, and repurposed. So it's not a total disaster. And many of those all had dairy cows in them. They might have only had 10 or 12 or 15 cows.
Yeah.
But at that time, you go back one or two generations, that was enough to, that was farming.
Yeah. And you watch the transition now. When I started into milking cows, in my limited experience, which was for a number of years, the transition was just underway from the cans. The can each cow got a can, and once you moved on to the next cow, you had to pick that darn can up and.
And those weren't light cans; those were stainless steel.
Cans, and they were huge.
I forget how many gallons.
Yeah, but they were huge.
As they talk in dairy, though, it's pounds of milk.
But the transition at that time was to pipelines.
Yeah.
and then to milking parlors.
Yes.
And so it's an evolving industry. Was even then back when I was doing it, but now AI is such a big part of it.
Yep. And robots,
And
robotic
yeah,
milking.
yeah,
You know, yeah.
all of that stuff.
Gone from doing it with your hands into a pail.
Yeah, and it's expensive to get all of this equipment
Oh.
in order to farm, but at the same time, you're able to keep farming, whereas there would be labor costs and all of these things, and it's a risky endeavor, I guess, is
Yes,
what I put up. So the farm
the
show
s-
comes along, and it's a big part of what we still do in Pennsylvania,
Yep,
and that's pretty
recognize-
remarkable.
Right, yeah. In recognition of all the folks,
Mm-hmm.
that contribute to make it what it is
Yeah,
today.
and you get right down to it. Tractors are still pretty cool, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. They can do amazing things.
Yeah, yeah.
How many, the horsepower, the size, their ability, how that technology,
Mm-hmm.
that's been developed to transition to scale
Yeah.
to where we are today.
The
And
fascinating
that doesn't necessarily mean that it's perfect
no.
or right or an improvement. There's a lot of things that have improved. There's no question about that. But along with that, there's always
Yeah.
checks and balances and pluses and minuses that come along with change and
Yeah.
progress. And
One of the most fascinating aspects of farming, we're talking farming today with Bob Pollock. One of the most fascinating things for me is field corn. And as the spraying process for field corn, now you have, they look like giant daddy long legs sprayers that you can take right down the row, and they're over top of the corn plants. And so even full grown corn stalks, these machines will go over the top of them, and so you're not destroying the crop, and you're getting everything sprayed just like you'd like to.
right, yeah, the ability to cover, multiple acres in a day. Big machines, sometimes they don't. On our backcountry roads, they take up the whole road.
They're adventurous.
But yeah, it's amazing how that can work. And it's, a lot of that machinery adapts better to, just go to Ohio where the ground's flatter in most cases.
Yeah.
And you have bigger fields in sections, and you try to use that equipment here. It maybe has to be scaled back a little bit. You can't get your booms as wide because of our terrain. It's hard to find a flat field.
Yeah.
There's few of them in Indiana County, but most of them are rolling one way or another. And so it's more challenging here to use some of that larger equipment and adopt it. People make it work, but sometimes they're pulling their hair out trying to do it.
Neighbor of mine, their son went to the state of Indiana to take a farming job there. Just wanted to get out, see what it's like to farm somewhere else, and big flat fields. And the farm on which he was working actually straddled the line. It was part of it in Indiana and part of it in Illinois. And the farm itself was 5 miles of fields. So you'd have to go out of your way to find the bridge to get across to the other state in order to continue your farming operation. But yeah, it's different everywhere else, and to see the way Pennsylvanians have adapted. Now, let me ask you this, because we have fruit trees, a very very burgeoning fruit tree industry, especially apples here in Pennsylvania. Peaches are now a big thing in southern Pennsylvania, especially. But the spraying technology for spraying high up in a tree, are there sprayers that are able to do that rather than doing it by hand or
there
in
sure
some other
are.
way?
Yes, so we transitioned from a boom type sprayer, where you've got arms and a boom, for row crops primarily. And then when we transition to more vertical things, then we go to air blast technology. And that just means that instead of, you have water, you have pressure on a boom sprayer, but with the air blast, we kind of use the air to help drive the liquid into the trees. so we can get through there. Now, what's happened, we used to have big standard trees that would be like a shade tree, 20, 25 feet, and they might be 20 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all transitioned to a lot more rows of trees and very narrow trees, so that tree might have shrunk to 4 feet wide, 5 feet wide at the most. That's all they want. And then rows that are spaced accordingly, just so you can get your equipment down through. And then and even there, because of that transition in the number of trees, the density, and the way we grow the tree more in a vertical fashion, sprayers need to adapt to that.
Yeah.
So we go from a more traditional air blast sprayer to one that has almost vertical booms, and so it's changed a lot. And then on top of that, now drones.
I was wondering about that.
Yes, that is really becoming the thing, because you don't use near as much water, because you've got a drone, but they're set up that they can cover a lot of acres, and they do it with less water. You're still putting the same material out per acre, but less volume of water to do it. And you can get in very different, it's easier to get into some of the fields and do it with that technology. And so that's really emerging as of late.
Yeah.
And then even robots. And that's, the last, I'll bet it's been 15 to 20 years probably, where research have been working on robotic ways to do this. And they've come up with different ways in an orchard, especially. It's a very complicated thing, from harvesters using robots to harvest fruit, and that ability, that maneuverability, more like a human hand, is very complex. But they keep chipping away at that, and making that more of a reality. And they do have harvest assist machinery now that can do that.
Cool.
And
Run
from
out of time.
platforms to pruning, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and they just continue to develop that.
A robotic Mr. Green Jeans. Thank you.
You're
It's Indiana
welcome.
in the morning, and it's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160.